Well, welcome on in, everybody. Time now, 11 o'clock. We're going to continue things here on Fox 10 Talks.
On your Wednesday.
On your Wednesday, yes. I want to introduce you to Lora Webster.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Give us your backstory, and you brought a very impressive piece of hardware with you.
Hold that up. Let the cameras see it if you don't mind.
Where am I looking?
Right.
I think,
There.
yay!
Yeah, there it is.
My gosh,
Yes.
wow.
So I am an Arizona native. I went to high school here and played volleyball. When I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with bone cancer, and I lost my left leg to that. And I continued to play standing volleyball. I played through high school. We won state in 2004. Go Cactus Shadows.
Yay.
And when I was playing, somebody noticed my leg and my prosthetic and said that they were starting a Paralympic team. And I had no idea what the Paralympics were. I didn't, and it was sitting volleyball, and I did not know what that was. So I was very hesitant to start because I never viewed myself as disabled, and playing a disabled sport was something that I didn't want to do. But I went to the training center in Colorado Springs and saw it, and I fell in love with the sport right away. And I've been doing that now since 2003. And I've been to 6 Paralympic Games, and we've medaled at each one. And this is one of 3 gold medals that we've won the last 3 games.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really is. You made such an interesting point that you said, I never considered myself disabled, and I didn't want to play specifically in this for that reason. But that is just as hard, just as difficult, just as challenging than volleyball, the volleyball you played in high school.
Yeah, so there's a big stigma in the U.S. that adaptive sports are like a watered-down, easier version of able-bodied sports, and it's actually not true at all. Sitting volleyball is incredibly hard. It's a full-body sport, and I can promise that you're sore after the first day of doing it. You got to use every part of your body to play.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because obviously you have a prosthetic, so you're able to walk around, but then when you transition into sitting, are you in a chair, or
Nope, we're
you're
literally
actually
sitting
just
on the ground.
So, okay, I didn't know if this was like training, but you're actually just sitting on the ground.
Yeah, so most of my teammates are lower leg amputees.
Okay.
And we don't wear our legs when we play.
I was going to ask if you, because in these photos we see that you're wearing your leg.
Correct, yes.
But when you're actually competing, you do not?
No.
Okay.
We move a lot better without our prosthetics on. We can move faster and more freely. In these pictures, this was at the Wounded Warriors event that we just did at Ability 360. And so I was not really playing. I was demonstrating. I did get to play around with them a little bit, but did not come prepared to actively play. So this is just us sitting down and playing around.
What was the transition like for you then? To go from the standing volleyball to this, was there a lot of training involved?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So being a volleyball player, that obviously helped because I had the skills down, but the movement in sitting volleyball is crucial and very, very difficult to master, because you immediately, in the rules, you have to have one butt cheek on the ground when you contact the ball. And so, like, offensively, like when you're attacking or blocking, you have to be in contact with the ground, and everybody's instinct is to come up onto your knee to try to block. And so since not everybody who plays sitting volleyball competitively has 2 knees that they can do, they have to level the playing field. So that's like when you're playing defensively, between your booty and your shoulders has to be on the ground. So we're still diving around and flipping and rolling and all that stuff. It's a very, very active sport. So that's one of the big differences. So when you figure that out and you get the movement down, as a volleyball player, it became natural. But difficult and challenging.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Can I go back when you mentioned that you lost your leg when you were 11?
Correct.
Can you just talk about, I cannot imagine being 11 years old and then being told that you have cancer, and not only that you have cancer, but that they have to amputate your leg.
Yeah.
That must have been just a barrage of a lot for an 11-year-old to handle.
Sure. Thankfully, kids are resilient. And I feel, as I'm a mom now of 4, and I can't imagine what my parents went through. At that time, it was in '98. So there weren't Facebook groups, there weren't support groups like that were actively available. So they really went through it on their own, and just with our community's support. And thankfully, we lived in a great community, and they were really helpful. But it was a lot for them to manage. And once we got through it, it was just kind of like, okay, this is life.
What about you, though?
Yeah.
The only thing I can say is I was sitting on my dad's lap when they told us that it was confirmed that it was osteosarcoma. And I looked at my doctor and I just said, okay, it's December, soccer starts in the spring. Are we going to be done by then?
No.
And he was like, so I think that kind of sums up kind of our mentality. It was like something that we just had to endure and get through. And of course there were horrible moments, but it doesn't do any good to think about those too
Yeah, dwell on
often.
the
Do you,
past.
yeah. Do you think at 11, I mean, 11-year-olds are smart and they understand, but they don't necessarily understand everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that helps in the sense where maybe you aren't quite as scared because you're not comprehending everything? Then you're like, I'm just going to do it. I'm playing. Like your only thought was, am I
gotta go
going
play
to
soccer.
play?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, let's get through the surgeries. Let's get through this because I want to play.
Correct.
Like that's kind of a mentality that gets you through the hurdles.
Yeah, I didn't understand how dire it could have been and how serious it was. I didn't find out until years later in an interview my mom did where she's like, we thought we were going to lose her on Christmas because I was in the ER with a fever and, had already started chemo, so very, fragile. And I had no idea. So I understood that it was serious and that, yes, I was going to lose my leg. My parents actually let me decide what surgery I wanted to have because it was going to be my life. And it was a very big decision, but they let me choose how I wanted to go forward. And so I had a really cool surgery called rotation plasty, where the tumor was right below my knee and they cut below the tumor and above the growth plate in my femur. And then they rotated the bottom part of my leg around 180 degrees and connected it with the foot attached. So my foot actually my ankle joint is my new knee joint. So as I point and flex my foot, it moves my prosthetic. So
Okay, wait. Tell me one more time.
I know, I'm trying to do this. You should see both of our faces. We're trying to
tell me
visualize
that one more time.
So the tumor was below my knee.
Okay, so let's say this is the knee, so right
Yep.
there. Okay.
And they had to get that out, obviously,
Yes.
and they couldn't keep my knee joint because the cancer was too
So
close
up
to my
here.
knee. So they had to get rid of my knee joint. So they cut below the below the tumor and above the growth plate in my femur. They took out my knee. They kept all the nerves and muscles intact, so I still have all of that. And then they rotated the bottom part of my leg around and connected it to my femur. So this is my prosthetic. So this is my heel, and my foot goes backwards into there. So when I
Wow.
point my foot, it straightens my leg. And
So
bending
you're-
it.
That is
Look
unbelievable.
at you.
So I have full control over how, instead of having an artificial knee joint, like above knee amputees
Yeah.
have.
And was that the
I have-
decision that you had to make, like
Yeah.
that, or
Yep. Yeah, and my mom was always like, "But when you're dating, how do you bring up that you have a backwards foot?" And thankfully,
so you have the
I've
whole
never-
foot there?
I have my whole foot there. I have my toes.
How did you
everything.
bring that
And
up? Because you're married with 4 kids.
my husband met me when I was playing sitting volleyball, so there was nothing to discuss. He's just
I love
a great
it.
man, and everything
I
was out
love
there
it.
when I first met him. And yeah,
I love
That is
you.
fantastic.
That is amazing.
yeah, it's really cool. And it's been, I've met a lot of families since then who were looking for options. And really, obviously, my mentality was I wanted to get back into sports.
Mm-hmm.
And so this option gave me that because I have full feeling. I have full control over how my limb moves now. And so I've talked to a lot of families that are in this situation. Unfortunately, they've just been diagnosed and they're looking at the options. And I have not met a family that chose rotation plasty that has regretted it because it's allowed their kid to get back to playing sports. Because osteosarcoma is often it's a childhood cancer primarily. So it's usually young kids who are making these choices and parents trying to decide how their kid is going to live the rest of their life. And so it's been one of my favorite things to do is to talk to families when they're struggling with this decision, because rotation plasty saved my athletic life. It made me active. I live on the beach with my kids and I have a beach leg that I wear in the ocean. And the only thing that I can't really do is fit in a regular airplane seat and on roller coasters on some. And that's it. So those limitations are pretty minor compared to everything else.
Unbelievable.
So yeah,
That
it's
is
been a
so
very
cool.
cool life.
What do you think it is about kind of sports? I mean, it's such a unifying thing, obviously, but what is it for you that kind of like wanted you to continue this and then get to the level that you're at being a Paralympian?
The opportunity when it presented itself, I was playing at Cactus Shadows and had been playing club, and I kind of decided then that like I could play for my country and I could help people who don't know that the sport existed, like myself, and I could help them learn that what adaptive sports are and continue their career if able-bodied sports aren't for them anymore. And so it was really my choice to not pursue college volleyball was because I saw what the U.S. team, what that opportunity was and what I could do and how I could help grow the sport and grow the exposure of the Paralympics and sitting volleyball.
And such an inspiration to so many people,
Yeah.
whether they, have a disability, whether they don't have a disability. It's incredible to see someone who says, I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have stuff that happens.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want to call it stuff, but
Yeah.
you literally pick up and you keep moving.
There's a decision that you have, and whenever you're dealt with whatever it is, whatever hardship comes, you can either decide to dwell on it and sulk, or
Yeah.
you get up and
Complain.
keep going. And you just have to, we're all dealt weird cards. And I'd rather live my life than sit at home and whine about it. Nothing's going to change it. It is what it is.
So
It's the
true.
reality.
It's so true.
So, it's been a great opportunity to be able to do that for as long as I have.
I imagine that you pass that on to your kids. How old are they?
14, 12, 10, and 3.
Okay, so they get it.
do,
They're very, I imagine they pay attention and they see what mom does.
Yeah, it's not a big deal to them. But what's cool is that prosthetics and people in wheelchairs are not strange to them. I always, when I'm on the beach and I'm wearing my beach leg, a lot of kids will stare and, be curious. And their parents will be like, don't stare. And I'm like, and I'll go up to them and I'm like, I'm sorry, you're teaching your kid the wrong thing. You're teaching them that they shouldn't be looking at people who look different than them. Let your child ask questions. As long as they're respectful, you can learn something too.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to ask questions. Don't teach them to shy away from people that are different. So there's a lesson in there every once in a while. And so I love it because the kids will come up and it's, on the beach, I can't say I got attacked by a shark, but there's usually some story where it's like I got kicked by a kangaroo.
Although that would be kind of funny.
Some random story, some animal that took it off. So it's fun. We have a great community and they've supported me throughout this journey as well. So it's been really cool.
Very cool. All right, let's talk about training. Like what goes into training? Because it must be so grueling. I can only imagine before you prepare for something like going to the Paralympics in Paris.
So it's kind of strange because we live all over the country. So we only get together our team lives all over the country. So we only get together about like once a month. So we have 3 days, 5 training sessions to train. And so all the training is done at home. And thankfully, we don't have any furniture in our family room, so I play with my kids in our family room. Yeah.
Wow.
And we just pass and set and everything. So that's where my training really happens, is with my kids helping me. Because
that's kind of cool.
That
they
is
can
neat.
say that they helped mom get a
So
gold medal.
that medal somewhat belongs to them as well.
Well, funny enough, I was pregnant for 2 of my Paralympics.
Really?
Yeah.
You really are a bad A. I don't know if we're allowed to say that word on here, but man.
No, it's so in London I was pregnant, but I hid it. But in Tokyo, I was 5.5 months pregnant with my baby. And so like on the medal stand, and when I'm playing, you can totally see that I'm showing. There was no hiding this one. Fourth kid, there's nothing left in my abs. So I couldn't hide anything. But yeah, so it's funny because my son in London, we won silver. And in Tokyo, we won gold. And my son's like, really?
Really,
I was the medal baby. And now she's the gold medal baby? Like, come on, that's not fair.
But it's not funny, but it's funny.
It is. Oh, it's
How
hilarious.
can people follow you, follow your journey, learn from you?
I'm terrible at social media. I do have Instagram. Our team page has Instagram.
Okay.
It's USA Women's Sitting Volleyball. And, just support the Paralympics. Just watch them. The coverage of the games have gotten a lot better.
Yeah, it's great.
But there's still a fight for equality as far as that goes. And so, we're gearing up for the Winter Games coming up next year, which will be fun to see.
We got to take a quick break. Can you hold on 2 seconds? We're going to wrap this all up. All right, back in 2 minutes, you guys. All right, we've been having such a fun time talking with Lora. We have so many questions.
We have so many. Well, I'm asking inappropriate questions, not bad inappropriate, but I had no idea surgery like this existed, and to have the option, I think, is just miraculous and absolutely life changing. Because had you said I want to do the other surgery, perhaps you wouldn't be where you are today.
Yeah. No, the surgery is really cool, and it always brings questions for sure.
Yeah.
There are some pictures online where you can kind of see. When I'm playing, you can see my foot. You can picture it a little bit better.
Googling
You can pull them up. But yeah, it's very fascinating, and it was a lot to wrap your mind around at first.
Okay,
So
you said you're okay with questions, so if you don't mind, I have a whole bunch more.
Go for it.
So, do you have to get a new prosthetic, changing tires on your car?
Yeah.
They run out, they run, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
do you
We
need
love
to
Ty.
Is that something that has to happen?
Okay, so I'm terrible because the leg that I'm wearing right now, I had made when I moved to Phoenix in 2001. So it's like
24 years old.
Which is stupid. And
But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It's trying to break. It's not. Like at this point, my leg is molded. My rear leg is molded to the shape of this leg. So making a new one is it's a pain. It's such a process, and it's frustrating because like the smallest little change can cause comfort or discomfort.
Really?
So yes,
that's what I was going to ask, because it's got to be like a perfect science to be able to get that prosthetic to fit you literally like a glove.
Yeah, and the foot, when they attach the prosthetic foot, it's got to be at the right angle, because if it's the wrong angle, then it changes your gait and where the pressure is. It's a whole process.
So maybe that's why you
I
don't
just
wanna-
avoid it
There you go.
entirely. Yes.
I'm on your social media, and look how cute your husband is.
Oh, thank you.
And
I'm a fan.
what a fantastic couple. You guys are 15 years. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Your kids are absolutely adorable.
Thank you.
She's
there.
become becoming your biggest stalker, Laura.
Well,
That's
I mean, I'm
okay.
such a fan, but
And this is why you don't post pictures of your kids on social media.
well, I didn't tell anyone where to find you though. But you just amaze me. I mean,
Thank you.
sometimes you have just like, can I say the C word? Happy day.
Which one?
CRA.
Oh, you can say crappy. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Well, you know what I mean? Because you're feeling bad for yourself, I don't know,
Yeah.
for silly things. And it's just like, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Well, we can still have those days. Everybody's, we all have
Yeah.
those days.
And you do speak to kids, right? You do.
I do.
You go
I
out
love
and-
going to schools and doing that kind of stuff. And what I did this weekend with the Wounded Warriors Project, that was my first time being
Oh, yeah,
involved
let's
with
talk
them.
about that.
They're great.
And it was incredible. The men and women that I met were just phenomenal. They had the best spirits. They had the best just energy, and we had such a great time.
Ability 360 is an amazing program. We've both
Correct.
interviewed. I've actually met up with them at the airport as
yeah.
they're heading out for some of the games, and everyone has a different story. And it's like you said, everyone just comes together, and whether it's in spirit, in body, physically, and they don't get to practice. You guys don't get to practice together because it's from all over the United States that you live. It's so cool.
It was just, and especially with that group, they were talking to me about some of how they got their injuries and what happened in their time serving. And it's just, having those programs and getting them together. And we were talking with the other coach that was with me, and he was like, I don't know how long you guys have known each other or if you've met each other, but the way that they spoke to each other, it was like instant family, instant friends. And I was talking to one of the men that was there, and I was telling him that was kind of how, because he asked me why I chose to stay with sitting volleyball. And I said, because when I went to my first training camp, that was my first time that I ever hung out with other amputees and people that understood kind of what I had been through.
Huh.
And so he said that was kind of what we
Yeah.
saw at the event, because, they've all have shared experiences and they've all served. And it's just that community of somebody understanding, maybe not exactly what you've been through, but having that understanding of what you've gone through and, having that shared experience. So
when you go talk to the kids and you speak to people, what do you say to them? What do you tell them?
kind of what I told you guys. It's just, I encourage kids to ask questions, and they do. And I've taken off my leg in school classrooms and gyms before, and to show them, the older ones that are really curious about how it works. And so the things that come out of their mouths is wonderful. And, so it's, I remember recently I was at one, there was a little girl who she was born without her, below her elbow. And she came up to me and she gave me the biggest hug, and I got a message from her mom, and she's like, it meant so much to her to see somebody else that was missing a part that wasn't the same as everybody else. And so it's stuff like that. Like, I'll fly everywhere to go talk to people, because those little moments and those impacts, that's exactly why I fell in love with the sport and doing what we do, because we get to make those every once in a while. And that's a really cool thing.
I feel like we should always have those moments, though, because no matter, even if we all look different, we're all the same. Right?
100%.
It's like our hearts beat and we have feelings, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's, the cool thing, I wear shorts all the time. Like I said, we live at the beach. And the cool thing is that it, I don't shy away from showing my leg. And so it really, people will ask questions, and I love it. Even adults who often don't take the time to do stuff like that and, again, just turn away. It's always good, because then you run into the person, like you're at the grocery store, and some woman came up to my mom and I, and she was like, listen, I see your leg. My mom is going through this. How did you, where do you get your prosthetic made? How did you go through fitting? She's refusing to wear it. And it just starts those conversations.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's magical when that stuff happens.
Speaking of questions, we have one from Hi Johnny. How much physical therapy did you do, or are you still doing any of it for others?
I'm a terrible advocate for physical therapy, because I got so sick of it. I didn't like it. They were making me move too slowly. And as soon as I got my leg, I was like, crutches, done. I'm out. Let's go. And so I didn't really do it, but I know that it has a lot of value for people. And I know people that have done it for years. Thankfully, I did gymnastics when I was younger. So because of how my prosthetic is, my toe is pointed. Like when I'm standing up straight, my foot is pointed in there. And so thankfully, I have a great toe point from my gymnastics days, so I didn't have to work on straightening out that joint. Some people with my surgery in particular can never get their foot completely straight in a point, so they have to work on that.
I didn't think about that. You said you have full feeling of your foot. So does the foot ever get tired in that prosthetic? And
Yeah, long flights, it's terrible. I mean, not terrible.
Yeah.
But it just sore, the same thing as anybody would on a plane. But I really, for the most part, most days are pain-free. I don't even notice it. It's been a long time since I've had it. And so it's really just a part of me. Thankfully, I don't have, my prosthetic fits great, and I don't have issues with that. So.
What's next for you? Are you going to continue to do the sitting volleyball, or what are you going to continue?
Yeah.
to
So the plan is LA in 2028.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Home soil.
Yeah.
And it would be
That'll be
my
nice.
7th games, and it'd be 25 years.
Wow.
So
Unbelievable.
that's the plan. That's the
Okay.
hope.
Would you ever coach or take it to, like elementary schools or high schools where we see, we're teaching the up and coming athletes?
Sure. So sitting volleyball, wheelchair basketball is kind of the only sport that's really integrated into like a big league in colleges and stuff. I love to go and just teach. Like I try to encourage gym teachers to play it. Like let's have an adaptive sports day. I'll
Yeah.
come
That's
and
a
I'll
good
teach them sitting
idea.
volleyball. And there are I try to encourage club volleyball teams. Like this is a great practice. It warms up your shoulders.
Sure.
And when I played sitting and standing together, it made my standing game, sitting volleyball made my standing game so much better because you learn how to adjust your upper body because you're not on your feet.
Someone
And
in the
so-
chat said you must have incredible abs, or core
Yeah.
strength.
4 kids, remember, there's nothing there anymore. I got nothing at one point. But it's a very core-centric sport.
Yeah.
Because you're unstable as you're
Sure.
playing the ball and stuff. And that's what also helped with the standing game is that I could make those adjustments with my upper body if my feet didn't quite get there. So it's a great practice tool. All you coaches out there, it's a great practice
Yeah.
tool for your standing team.
Can I see the medal?
Of course you
I
can.
would, look at this. This
It's
So-
heavy, I hear.
Oh my gosh.
So with Paris,
Look how cool this is.
they did the silver on the front is a piece of the Eiffel Tower.
Is it really?
Yeah, so all the Olympic and Paralympic medals have that piece
Oh,
of
my
wow.
gosh.
Eiffel Tower on there. Yeah,
That is so cool.
Did you go to the Eiffel Tower? Did you get to visit?
did.
Hold on. I
Yeah.
was trying to show off.
we did. We had about 4 hours to peruse Paris. We were there for almost 3 weeks,
That
and that
is
was all we had.
Yeah, well, you're
So-
competing.
We were very, very
Oh,
busy.
wow.
Now, where
That's-
do you keep all your medals? Like, I would keep them like in like a guest bathroom. So when people come over, they're like, "Look how accomplished I am."
hang them from the wall in a king. Yeah, so when people come to visit,
Yeah.
they
You
can
know what?
be like,
They are honestly in a drawer in my dresser. I don't have
I'm
them
gonna
out.
make you a shadow
I
box.
don't.
that's it, a shadow box.
To be fair, when I retire, I will do that. But we take them to schools, we show them
Yeah.
to kids, we bring them to events like this, and so when it's all over, they'll be up somewhere.
We have another question.
Yeah.
Do you practice standing on both toes, or do you only do one at a time?
Do I practice standing on both toes?
I'm not sure what exactly they mean by that, but maybe like, are you working the other foot as well? Because you said you can walk on both a little bit, or you can get up on the other foot.
Yeah. So when I'm playing little foot
Right.
without my prosthetic on, because it's still a foot. But no, when I walk with my prosthetic, it's just my gait is normal. Yeah.
Now, leading up to LA, now do you know yet like who your teammates could potentially be? I know we're still a few years out.
Yeah.
But do you kind of already know maybe some of your former teammates will be coming on to Team USA with you again?
Yeah. So we've still right now, I think we have a roster of 20
Okay.
women on our team, and we travel with anywhere from 12 to 14. So we all train together, the entire squad, and then our roster is released, and whoever's on that roster is on for that tournament.
Gotcha.
That's what I was going to say. So 2028, obviously, we have some time. Do you already know for certain that you'll be on the team?
No. No.
Okay.
We
So-
won't find that out until like June or July of 2028.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's strenuous when that email
yeah,
comes
I
out.
bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been, if not, I will be there to support my team, and it's been such an awesome experience and career.
Now, in the off season, I mean, you mentioned that you play with the kids and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. But are there other like
competitions,
other
tournaments?
competitions to kind of keep your skills sharp, so to speak?
Yeah, so we really don't have an off season. It's goes by quad. So every quad we've got certain tournaments. My team just competed in at the World Cup in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We actually had 2 tournaments on
Oh,
U.S.
cool.
soil this year. Yeah, so they actually won gold there, which was awesome. I missed out because my kids play like 14 different sports teams this
So you
fall.
couldn't make it.
And so we couldn't make it with the schedule. But we also had our zone championship earlier in June in Denver, and we won that as well.
How do you
So-
pick and choose which game you're going to go participate in? Because you do have a life outside. I mean,
Yeah,
you're a
busy
professional
one.
athlete, but you're a professional mom too. And
Very much so. So it is very hard, especially as my kids have gotten older and they are doing all the after school stuff. It's a lot. And my husband and I don't have any family in New York, so it's really just falls on us. Thank God he's a saint and can manage when I'm gone. So it's very hard. But it's really, we have like qualifier tournaments every year. And so I went to the qualifier, and this other tournament was just important, but there was no
Got it.
qualification. And this time around, since we are on U.S. soil, we already have our bid for LA. 28.
Cool.
So the pressure is kind of off, so we can kind of play around with different players and different rosters and have a little bit more freedom. Of course, we always want to win, but it's sometimes there's more value in not winning and building something new. And, you know, there's a lot of people who I think I am planning to retire after LA. And so I know our team is going to change. We've had a lot of people that have been here for quite some time. And so we've got to really build our new, to continue our legacy, we need to build up our new squad. So it was great to watch them. They did amazing in Fort Wayne. It was
Do
a
you
lot
still
of
have
fun to
family
watch.
here?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents and my sister are here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Laura, this has been an absolute
Yeah,
joy to
thank
have
you.
you.
It's
And
been
thank you for
great.
staying the full
Thanks for
28
letting
minutes.
us ask
Of
our
course,
crazy
abs-
questions.
Yes.
No, please,
we have
keep 'em
lots
coming.
of crazy questions, Laura. So if you want to stay for another hour,
I love it. No, absolutely. I love
This has
those
been
kind of
fun.
questions.
Well, thank you so much for
Yes,
taking the
of
time.
course.
And we're going to be watching your.
I'm
we're gonna
following
follow
you on
all the
Instagram
social medias,
already.
and
Please,
we're
yeah.
going to track your career as you head into LA 28. That'll be fun.
Thank you.
We can
yes.
say we know someone
Yeah.
in the
Hey, listen.
Olympics.
Yeah.
Come to
How cool is
LA.
that?
You have to say Paralympics.
Paralympics.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Nope,
Yes.
it's okay.
All right.
You just got to know the
I
difference.
think it's more important, if not
Ron and Desiree.
Hey, come watch us.
So, oh yeah.